What if there's made-up specs that are actually numerically, factually false? 1-inch camera sensors are not 1 inch in any dimension, and 1.5K displays are actually not 1500 pixels in any dimension either. How is that possible?
Hello, I am the PhD Cat. Let's talk about smartphone cameras. Many modern flagships proudly advertise, equipped with a massive 1-inch sensor. When you hear 1 inch, your mind naturally envisions a physical sensor about the size of a thumb, similar to what you'd find inside a professional DSLR. But if you take a ruler and measure that sensor physically, its diagonal measures roughly 16 mm, significantly smaller than a literal inch, 25 cm. Why does this mismatch exist? Marques Brownlee explained the history behind it. Long before digital photography, video cameras used vacuum tubes to record images. A vacuum tube with an outer diameter of 1 inch produced a usable light-sensitive area inside of approximately 16 mm. Fast forward to today, and the tech industry is still using a measurement convention derived from vintage vacuum tubes to market modern digital sensors. A 1-inch sensor is a legacy marketing term, not a direct physical measurement. We see a similar pattern with 1.5K displays. 4K refers to roughly 4,000 horizontal pixels. 1080p FFHD has 1,120 horizontal pixels. Yet brands label displays sitting between 1080p and 1440p as 1.5K, even though the screen doesn't measure 1,500 pixels in any direction. Now, I know photography enthusiasts might say, Cat, the 1-inch type sensor naming convention has been an industry standard for decades across major optics manufacturers. That's true. But it raises an interesting question. Is continuing to use a vacuum tube era term that leads everyday consumers to assume their phone sensor is twice its actual physical size a matter of honoring industry heritage or capitalizing on consumer misunderstanding? What do you think? Now let's look at materials. This is where marketing language becomes truly poetic. You've likely heard keynotes highlight aerospace-grade aluminum or surgical-grade stainless steel. It sounds premium and exclusive, doesn't it? As if the phone was forged in an advanced aerospace laboratory. However, Mrwhosetheboss showcased a humorous reality. Aerospace-grade aluminum usually refers to 6000 or 7000 series aluminum alloys. They are strong, lightweight, and cost-effective, which is why they are also used on everyday razor kick scooters for kids. Surgical-grade stainless steel is typically 316L stainless steel. While it is used in surgical tools, it is also the exact same alloy used in most standard kitchen sinks. To be fair, tech companies didn't invent this linguistic trick. Every industry plays this game. Fashion labels rebrand plastic-based pleather as vegan leather to charge triple. Food brands slap all natural on sugar water. In tech, we call a kitchen sink alloy surgical grade because words carry emotional weight. It turns a commodity into an identity. A similar dynamic plays out with glass durability marketing. Year 1, our new glass is 2x more drop resistant. Year 2, our new glass is 2x more scratch resistant. Mrwhosetheboss broke down the underlying material science. Hardness, scratch resistance, and flexibility, shatter resistance, are inversely related. Making glass harder to prevent scratches makes it more brittle and prone to shattering upon impact. Conversely, making it softer to absorb drops makes it more susceptible to hairline scratches. Rather than discovering a miraculous new material every 12 months, companies often adjust the trade-off balance, prioritizing drop resistance one year, scratch resistance the next, and framing each shift as a major breakthrough. Which marketing claim from recent years whether it's 100x zoom, 6000 nit peak brightness, surgical steel, or AI features. Did you personally find the most convincing at first? Finally, let's talk about a 140x zoom claims and 6000 DAS nit peak brightness claims. Some manufacturers highlight 140x ultra zoom as a headline feature. But when Marques and Mrwhosetheboss tested these extreme zoom levels in real conditions, the results were often blurry, smeared images heavily reconstructed by AI smoothing algorithms. Mrwhosetheboss made a sharp observation regarding this trend. How far your phone can digitally zoom has literally zero correlation with how good of a camera it is. What it actually correlates with is how low a company's standards are for what counts as a photo. You could take a smartphone from a decade ago, crop in repeatedly until all that's left is a single pixelated smudge, and technically call that 300x digital zoom. We see a similar dynamic with shot on iPhone or shot on Galaxy campaigns. While the video feed technically passes through the phone's sensor, the production behind it often involves multi-million-dollar lighting setups, cinema lenses, professional rigs, and world-class color grading teams. It inspires us with a creative potential, but it can also obscure how much external production value was required to achieve that final look. Now, before we point fingers at the marketers, we need to give credit where credit is due. The engineers behind these products are absolute wizards. Fitting a 16 ms physical sensor into a thin slab of glass or balancing scratch and drop resistance on a microscopic level is genuinely cutting-edge science. The real issue isn't that the technology is bad. The issue is the translation gap. Engineers speak in trade-offs and physical limits, while marketers speak in absolutes and magic. Across these episodes, our goal isn't to discourage anyone from enjoying new technology or buying products they love. Technology remains incredible, and the engineers behind these devices are doing remarkable work. But as thoughtful consumers, our best tool is simply informed awareness. When we understand marketing terminology and recognize physical constraints, we can make purchasing decisions based on real-world value rather than artificial hype. And what feature actually matters most to you when deciding to upgrade? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights always make for fascinating discussions.